It's all based.
We can post it later.
Oh, hey, that's a good idea. So in the figure eights, that's all based on these rolling back and forth motions. So we're gonna go through those. We learned those in the ladder agility work. So if you're newer here, it's gonna be a little more difficult. But that's okay. The idea is to build into it. So you want to go ahead and just. So let's roll through. How about we roll through about half of that?
Oh, yeah, I was gonna.
Unless you have.
Focusing on like drop step stuff.
Okay, perfect.
We're gonna start paring back the ladder drills a little bit so we have more time to do other things. And as he said, we're not going to like go as in depth on the teaching part. If you are just absolutely completely lost, let us know. But also, we now have all of our old, like every single one of these we've done is now posted on Coach's Corner YouTube page, as well as some of our original videos just teaching the ladder drills. So you can go find those there and work through them anytime you want.
Hey Vim, I'm gonna pop you and for us to watch, not for or actually I guess everybody will watch it. You don't mind? I'm gonna pop you up on here so we can just make sure. All right, great.
And so for today's version of that drop set base, so we're gonna here. Let that
So if you have a small room, Vim, you look like you got a small room. Idea is you can literally do a couple of them, turn around, do a couple back. So the key on these, and you guys can go ahead and join us over here and run through them. If you want more room, just go ahead and run them through over there. Just pretend you got the ladder. We'll try to stay a little bit away from each other so that we can do them, but I see Louis helping you guys, so it's more than help. It's no problem. You guys can do them over there. That's it. Good. That's better. The idea is make sure you keep your knees bent.
Go on this one, we're gonna put in the ladder all the time.
There you go. Yeah, just follow her. Yeah. Follow him. Just kind of do his foot. There you go. Good. One foot in the ladder. There you go.
I'll push it here.
There you go. Good.
Since we've got a big crowd, we're running a little slower, so folks at home, you have to go ahead and run through them multiple times, in the bathroom area, other ones, today, obviously, go for it.
So Todd, bend those knees a little bit in there. Keep your head. Yeah, make sure you're not turning your shoulders in. Make sure that they're nice and straight. Your body's nice and straight. Same, Vim. Make sure, Vim, that you're bending those knees. Okay? Checking how you're doing, Vim. Yeah. So it's your legs are going to open and then close.
Okay, when you guys moved me to on your video screen, I lost the ladder view. I don't know why.
Sorry, probably because are you on your phone?
I am on
Yeah.
my phone.
All right, we're gonna we'll go ahead and take you off that so you can see it.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. There you go. So Vim, make sure that foot you wide and then you gather that foot back.
Okay.
Wide. Later, they're almost simultaneous. Because one foot, without that wide foot catches yourself, not leaning, but that wide foot catches yourself. I got another ladder if you guys want. The wide foot catches yourself, but you notice I don't lean when I'm stepping, and I don't do this. I don't. Okay, it's literally lifting my hip and you fall into that step. That's why it's called the drop step. Yep, fall. Okay, I'm shifting. You see my body. Okay, and if I lift this foot, I literally fall onto it. This is based on weight. Okay.
All right, so now we're gonna roll on into the shuffle version of the same thing. So we're just reversing the order of the feet. That outside foot comes in line, and then we open up.
Yeah, so this time your foot comes together and yes, perfect, Bim. That's exactly it. Go ahead and do it again. Do it again, Todd. That last one was more of a gather. Yeah, there you got to shuffle your feet together. Perfect. That's it. Yes. Now make. Don't add to that last step. Bring this foot up. No. Up. No.
Shuffle. Big shuffle. Comfortable with the basic movement, remember to work on staying weight on the balls of your feet. Get out of your heels.
That's okay.
I missed it.
You just missed that one. You had it. You had it here. Follow me.
As you try to speed it up to stay in the balls of your feet.
Lean, lean, lean. Move the wrong foot. I know, that's hard.
And stay on the balls of your feet doesn't mean up on your toes. It just means
Yeah.
weight focused forward in the balls.
Yep, good. Try it again, the deal. There you go. One foot out, bring that foot in. This foot across over here. Yeah, there you go, good. Now that outside foot, there you go. Outside foot, outside foot. Good, outside foot, outside foot. Good, outside foot, good. So if you've been doing this a while, I'd like to see you shift into a little bit faster mode.
And our experienced folks, go ahead and do it backwards.
Yeah. Experienced folks, the others just try to get this technique down. So Vim, don't bring that foot, once you got, you're bringing the foot back to the other one. So just leave it in the ladder.
Okay.
That way we're not destroying our stance every time. If you look, like he gets right back in, if you look at a person doing a ladder backwards right now, he gets right back into stance and then so they don't bring that foot back over.
Yeah, this step is only 2 steps. 1, 2, and then you're done.
Right.
Go the other way, 1, 2, and then you're done.
Good.
We'll let Bronis run it backwards, and then we'll move on to the next one.
A good way to practice this one, if you're in a small space or it's the first time, is you could literally just do it side to side. Okay. And then you can change it to back, and then you can take it forward for your experienced people. Okay.
All right, so if you were just learning that one for the first time, or if you're still struggling with it, ignore what I'm about to say. You're just gonna do a repeat of the same thing. For people that have been doing this a while, we're gonna go ahead and do our angled skiers. So we're going, it's still the shuffle version. So it's that outside leg moves first, but now we're going around our imaginary. Can't see my arm because my back. Around our imaginary palm. We're pointing that foot in our final position. One step. Today was the very first time you tried shuffle here. Just do that one again.
Good idea, like your hips back.
Squat. It'll help.
Look at nice.
This one, remember again, if you're staying on the balls of your feet, you can kind of pivot a little bit and you don't have to torque your knee as hard or at all.
It does, doesn't it?
Go ahead and run through it backwards if you have time, and if you're comfortable with forward.
Are we doing? Later, as you get good at these, you can actually swing your hip a little bit. And the hip will whip your feet into the place. Right? I go back.
Yes, no, but they're doing a changing angle now.
Okay. So backward. Okay.
Whatever. So it goes to the next rung up.
Another mark. So. Front foot.
That's like a really difficult. Not only stepping over the run.
This front foot going forward. Okay. Okay. You can do it with, yeah, good idea. Yeah.
You want me to post the diagram, like hold up the diagram?
Yeah, if you want to share.
Yeah, it's also in the group chat right now, but here it is.
All right, I'm gonna swap over to Bess real quick. If people want to look at the foot diagram for this
There
one.
you go, good.
I know for some of us, the diagrams are super helpful.
I'm not smart enough without a diagram.
All right, going back to ladder cam. All right. Next one, I kind of skipped it earlier, so we're going slightly out of order, but that's fine. We're gonna do our wide skiers. So that is actually the basic drop step move, but we're gonna get more side to side. If we're gonna do that, I'll start by facing y'all for this. We're gonna do that by squatting a little lower, and then at the very end, right before this foot leaves the ground, it's gonna give a little push. And that pushes straight sideways. When you want to start and end in your stance. Every time, no matter which foot I'm leading with, I'm still in my stance on both sides.
Stop it. Oops, am I on mute? Nope.
Yep, that's better than your knees.
Yeah, the further you squat, the further sideways you can end up going.
And remember, for those folks who've been doing this for a while, if you're not landing in your stance, then you need to make them smaller. So make sure there's room in between your feet. Don't get into this. Where I line them up or they're together. You want room between those feet.
It's like Sivert here is going to show us you land and then you are ready to throw a shot. He's in stance, therefore he is ready to throw at any moment. Yeah, we have a slidey floor today.
We have a slidey floor, so ours
Makes it
makes it definitely hard. Like to deal with that.
Backwards real quick. If you're struggling with forward, keep doing forward. On all of these going backwards, remember to stay upright and sit. Sit that butt back.
Because that sitting into your butt actually carries you backwards. It's your body that's carrying you. It's not your feet doing this work.
You are sitting on a rolly stool and your feet are just pushing you backwards.
Better. Good, you're keeping your feet wider. That's good. So the good part on this, depending on where we are, we don't necessarily have to go away. We could change the distance, especially forward and backwards, depending on how far we want to do it. So if I'm fighting somebody, here I am, I could say, okay, I want to really be on the side. I push over here, I push on the side. I'm not going to kind of freeze them over there, and then I'm over here. Right? Or I could essentially make it, again, push, but just to take a smaller step. Okay? I get them used to the smaller step, and then I'm over here.
All right. Oh, nope. You do your run real quick. While they're finishing that up, I'm gonna just let everybody know the next one we're gonna do, we're gonna move into our 3-step. So that is the basic shuffle, but we're just adding a step in it. I will show after they finish their backwards run here.
Hard on this floor.
So I'm gonna face y'all to show this instead of talking over my shoulder. So the way the 3-step works is I'm just taking a step forward, and then it's that same shuffle again that we were doing before. 1 step forward. So the whole thing is 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. And then you repeat on the other side. 1, 2, 3. Don't pick up that foot again. One, 3, 7. 1, 2, 3, 7.
Yep.
In the end, it's still right, left, right, left, right. Yeah. It happens. Like, we all get that instinct, we get comfortable moving the same foot.
Remember, if you're at home, you can switch these back and forth. Then I'm gonna come check you and Todd out, see how you guys are doing. Man, that looks good. Nice job. Yeah, good. I like it. You got enough room to go back and forth. That's good. After you do that, switch your feet and try it again. Good. Little different, isn't it? Nice. You did a nice adjustment there. Todd, let's see how you're doing. Step, and then, yep. Don't get your feet together, though.
Yes.
There you go. Yeah, so take a normal step forward. Then this foot comes up, almost replaces the other foot. Step, replace. Step, replace.
Yeah, like that, Todd. That last one. Yes.
For everyone else, this is, you should be really driving through these now. I want nice and low. I want you guys to think, I want all your experienced ones, I want to get extra 2 inches down into these. Right, dig into them. Get on your toes, dig in, nice and low, super low. There you go. Super low.
Yeah. Yeah, let's say. That's straight up the ladder.
Or hard backwards. Yeah. Step. There you go. Good. Step. Step. Perfect. That's the way. Step. 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 Good. Step.
And Adila, I see he's kind of collapsing inward again. So try and keep them oriented, like straight out from your hips. When they do this is when they're gonna start hurting. Better.
Better. Good. Yeah, that's one of those things you're gonna have to think about, because you're used to this, right?
So now we're gonna take it one step further and we're gonna move into our cross behind step. So it is almost exactly the same. Now we're, someone's got background noise. Can you mute, please?
All right.
So it's almost the exact same thing, but this time we're gonna step forward and instead of replacing, we're gonna go ahead and let it cross and come up. So our hips are facing straight forward the whole time. My hips are not like turning sideways. Hips are straight forward. Bending your legs helps with this a lot.
And if you track her back foot, watch what her back foot does. It stays straight. It doesn't turn in.
What this does is lets you get further side to side.
Right.
Because instead of being limited to stepping here, I'm now stepping all the way over here.
So for the newer people, this step is the longest step you can take because you're crossing your feet. You will get a rash load of crap from everybody about crossing your feet. This isn't, I don't stand in front of a person here and do this, because if they push me, I'm done. This is why you don't cross your feet. I don't cross my feet if he's running at me. I don't cross my feet there because if he turns, he can knock me down again. I cross my feet when I got him going sideways already. So I can change. The idea being, you have to know that this is a legit technique to get distance, but you have to make sure you got the right time to do it.
So if you're looking at this and it's completely breaking your brain, it's okay to just stick with doing the 3-step we were just doing and then work on this one after class or during the week. If you're feeling comfortable with it, then you can try going to next steps of trying to make sure you're landing in your stance, keeping the weight in the balls of your feet, speeding it up, etc. Doing it backwards. A note for doing it backwards. If you are trying that for the first time, you're going to step backwards and then your foot's going to cross in front because that is the path that is available for it now. It crosses behind when you're going forward and it crosses in front when you're going backwards, as he is showing now.
So the key on this one is start slow, but the biggest piece is as this back foot comes around, you don't turn it. If I turn, if you watch my foot here, if I'm facing the ladder and I turn this foot, it turns my hip. If I take this foot and leave it perfectly pointed forward, notice my hip doesn't turn. So the idea is if I'm fighting him, my feet are faced this way. If I turn, now I'm way off. He has the side of my head, wrap, anything else. But if I just leave my foot pointed, he always stays in front of me. So if you're having trouble understanding that, you can leave your hands out here in front of you, like that's where the person is. And it's always facing him. If you find your hand turning away from the ladder, then your back foot is probably turning.
And you can plant your hands right on your hips and it'll tell you if they're turning. Because sometimes we'll turn our hips, but not our shoulders. So you might not catch it. Yeah. Sorry. Up here, we catch a lot of things when we do this, especially those that were in marching band. Are really good at turning hips and leaving the shoulders there. So if you really want to see it, take your hands and literally point them off the sides of your hips straight forward. And if your hips turn, like there's no hiding, you'll know. Your hands will be pointing over there.
All right.
All right, so one more, this is gonna be our last one for today of our all the rock starts. Series covering our what we call the 4 steps. We're gonna do basically just 2 small drop setups on top of each other. So I'm gonna do one small drop step into the ladder and then another one out the other side. And then I'm gonna do it into the next box. Small one in, small one out. And the goal here is to combine them, make it one smooth motion that happens to contain two small rail steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. What I call the fourth step. Also, remember with this one, you want your whole body to move side to side. You don't want your body to stay over the ladder while your feet just sort of swing side to side underneath you. You want your body to start on one side of the ladder and end on the other. And go ahead and do this one backwards if you're comfortable with it, or even if it's your first time trying. This one is fairly simple to reverse. It's a nice balanced lift, right?
Again, stay low. So this is a good one. If you don't have as much space in your room, you can also, if you side to side space, you can use this lengthwise. You can just shuffle along the ladder. So
To get this going well, you can literally just do it, you know, for infinity repetitions. It doesn't have to be 2. It can be 5 or 7 drop steps in a row.
and this is the reason we practice this. This is a good drill to practice with a second person. So we'll practice this tracking. I'm going to be the leader. She's going to track. Yeah. No, this is again.
Oh, that's all.
So the idea is you learn to connect with your opponent while you're tracking. And we do this a lot actually while we're fighting. We do it, we move forward and back. But while we're fighting, I might be trying to shoot over here. He's gonna stay in front of me. Right? Because as soon as I get on the side, I control. So no, I know he's turning, I go and I turn him around. So the idea is when you get an opponent turning, you have opportunities to take advantage of it.
All right, Brennis wants to tack on one more that was one of our newer ones, so we're gonna do it. This one we're doing, this is the couple step move forward and backwards down the ladder that we've been working on, primarily forward. Make sure you can do it well forward before you turn it. But I'll do it. Not down the ladder, where the camera should be. Starting in stance, and we're just doing that shuffle step forward. So my feet are coming together and then going back apart again. I'm ending with the same foot in front. So I start closer together and further apart. Just gonna do that forward down the ladder.
Yeah, and remember with this one, as you get better at it, you're gonna get longer distance because your body is controlling the distance of your shuffle. And in case you can almost see when Side's doing it here, she's almost passing her front foot. As this one's passing, this one's literally rolling up on the toe. You can make them as small as you want. So I could just.
I mean, you will never 100% eliminate the box.
And the reason you want that small step is I might actually, so Side's working on the outside really hard. I might think about shuffle forward, shuffle back. So way outside of range, I shuffle in, I shuffle back. I see what she's gonna do.
Eventually I get tired of this and I go, I'm coming for you.
Right.
But you can do it at once, because now I'm just being done.
Right, but that shuffle in allows you to put really quick temporary pressure on your opponent, because you're shuffling into a range you can throw. So you're literally, she's way outside of range here, you can see. So now I can go, hey, and then way back outside. And I can make that a big one. I could go, hey.
And the only way for me to get out of that is to move really fast backwards, or if I have really great instincts. I can reach for that. But he's already going forward.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And that's one of those pieces. So here you get to learn what your opponent's doing. So if I give them a small shuffle and they just back straight out really small, then my next shuffle might be a really long shuffle with a jab, like essentially your double jab in boxing. All right, let's go. Shuffle. They just replacing. Here we go. Stand. This one comes up. You got it. Good. Keep those shoulders nice and high. I stand with toes a little bit.
That looks good, Vim.
And then we're going to do it with the other foot. Because I can't do it with the other foot very well.
Germanicus, that's looking real good forward. When you go backwards, you kind of add a
That's
little bit of a
interesting.
hop. See if you can smooth that out a little bit. Yeah.
As long as you watch that back foot as you come forward. And you come forward with that. Step or up. Like a step. Almost like your toe. Yeah, that toe pointing forward. There you go. No step forward like that. And backwards, yep. Man, backwards is hard. You really gotta get low. Keep that center. Your duck button. There you go. That's better. It is goofy foot backwards. It's very difficult. So for our experienced birdie people, definitely make sure you do these both feet. Funny foot too. Nice, Vim. That's looking good. Very good. Hey, it looks like Todd moved to the garage. Smart man. We got Angus. Nice, Craig. Again, for you, Craig, this is going to be really nice for those long double jabs. Also for scaring your opponent. I know. That is rough. That'd be funny. That's the way. Exactly. That's a key. No problem, Margaret. Like Beth said, the idea is you keep watching. Good part is the videos go up and you can do them in slow motion. You could set it, watch, and then do it, and then watch some more. Take your time. We're in no big rush. The idea is to get them right, and that's the big part. All right. So that's it for the ladder stuff we're going to do today. We're going to roll into a bit of the figure eight, because that's what we said we were going to do.
Do we want to pull this up so we're not tripping over it, or do we just want to like turn the camera?
There we go. All right.
Yeah.
Press home. Yeah, you can put two. All right, we're just setting up a few things. Well, what we'll do is we'll move them to the ladder. That way they have a real ladder. All right. So we just some of our new folks with the exercise just to get perfection here. Good. Yeah. Doing the crossing drill. Oops, that's okay.
Louis is also demonstrating that a really good way to work on your backwards technique is while teaching
Right.
someone their forward technique.
Right. So go ahead and use ladder so you can take it through on a real ladder. All right. Go ahead, you can jump over a ladder. We're gonna do some figure eight through here. That way you can actually do it on a real ladder, get a good feel. And Louis, don't be afraid to take it through some of the basic ones like double foot run and stuff like that too. No. And don't worry about that, because that camera's really not on.
The mic over here.
Yeah, I'm gonna drag the mic over here. I'm gonna drag the whole cart over here.
You only have so much room, unfortunately. But yeah, there you go.
We can angle it.
Yeah, it gets a little warm.
That's great.
That's a good part, right?
That's why
All
I
right.
said that.
So we're gonna work on the figure eights. So this is gonna take a little bit more room, but it doesn't have to take as much room as you really think. And if there's a couple ways to do a figure eight, we're gonna do it. So because most people don't have a lot of side to side room, we're gonna start. If you have two cones or you're on your ladder, you're gonna start looking down your ladder. The idea is now we're taking, and I'll do it this way. We're gonna take this hip and we're just like we've been doing, we're gonna start rolling through these. This is just almost like that shuffle step, right? Here I am, I'm coming here, here, and then I'm changing, my hip starts going. So when you do this, think about your hip being the leader, okay? So the idea is really small steps. Here's what happens if you take too big of a step, then all of a sudden I'm going the wrong direction and I can't recompensate. I end up recompensating really big. The idea is really small steps. I'm gonna have Ron Balder come over here in a second because I'm not doing it justice, but here we are. I just almost bring my feet together almost all the time. And we're just gonna roll. If you look, my feet are very small. I kept pushing my hip out this way now. Hip turns forward, now it's going back into this angle. Okay.
When in
So-
doubt, smaller steps.
The key is smaller steps. If you have cones, if you have lines on your ladder, that's fine. The real key here is at first, tell you the truth, get right in the middle and walk yourself a figure eight, standing perfectly straight up, just keeping your body always pointing forward. And just walk it. Okay, this is kind of giving you a feel how walking it does. Okay, in this case, your feet are mostly moving here because you're just walking. Now we're going to start bending our knees in this. Bend your knees, keep them really small, and then keep walking it. But you notice now as you bend your knees, it's almost like your hips are starting to lead you a little bit. Now you're using balance in your lower body more. Okay, now a little farther in those, a little farther deeper into that. And there we go. And you notice now, again, as long as you almost feel like you're leading with your hips. So it's a good way to start just walking through it first and then slowly going down into it. Ronald, you got some more on?
The reason this came to mind for me was when we fight, we're moving in a lot of different directions. And a lot of people talked about we don't fight in a line. Of course we don't. What you're doing here is after you've done the ladder drills a bunch of times, you know a bunch of steps. What this is allowing you to do is to put them all together. So you notice when he went through, if you washed his feet, he used about 3 or 4 different steps that we used. There isn't a specific move. For instance, when he started, he chose to lean with his hip, step here, and then step. Okay, so that's what we do, right?
So that's the shuffle step,
It's the shuffle step. Once he got here, I don't remember what he
gathering
did,
step now.
but he's got choices now.
Yeah.
Depending on which one. And that's the beauty of this. Go about half speed and try different ones. You'll find sometimes in this spot, you'll be more comfortable cutting forward here,
Yep. And then
maybe
cross
even
it.
across.
Yep.
And then try a different one back. Sometimes a gather. But the goal is you sit, and even though your feet are doing 4 or 5 different things, from the hips up, you should be pretty smooth. So your upper body should go fairly smooth. I keep on the
You do. There you go.
The extra circles are my own habit. This is too consistent for me to present my opponent. So for me, I end up doing this.
Right. So the idea is he adds some small change of tempo in those.
Yeah, don't bother with.
And we'll take it to that point at some point. But in a fight, this is what's really happening. So if I'm fighting Rongbalder, so he's not going to do a figure 8 necessarily, but what the figure 8 helps us do is guide both ways and get that control. But if Rongbalder's closer here I am. If I fight him and he decides to go away, he doesn't just go straight back. Because you see how he automatically changes, almost he's already rolling. So as he changes in here, he starts rolling around and starts to put pressure on this side now. The idea is that this is the circle effect. If Rongbalder goes straight back, look what's happening. That's all he has. That's the worst place you can be because now you can get double jabbed or whatever. But if I come at him and he starts doing a half circle, all of a sudden I'm here and then now he's shifting and starting to come around my end. So he's taking advantage. He doesn't have to keep going straight back. So this is why this is important. And this starts being really important when we start just doing kind of eye pressure over here.
Okay. You might sing to the figure 8 or not.
Yes, you're going to follow here. I'm going to pressure and then you're going to come back around. There you go. And then he counter pressures when I give it up. You see, we're in this balance here. And then literally I could speed it up. Okay, we could slow it down. We could add jabs in there. But the idea is that we are getting in flow with each other. But if Rongbalder just goes straight back, I could do this. Bang. See, now he's done. Right? Because he went straight back. I hesitated. He stopped. And then he's like, oh, he's really coming. And then his head came
Try to
forward.
throw my hips back.
He threw his hips out. His head came forward. But in a real fight, the way we do it is as soon as I come forward, he falls into a corner and then like circles me. Right? So do just a regular fall away and come back. See, as soon as he gets outside me, I want to go back. You got it. So it becomes a small circle. So again, Rongbalder's coming at me. I might fall back. See, I circle. Because then it puts me into offense again. So the idea in those figure 8s is that we're learning, no matter where those go, to constantly push a corner, and then he's going to counter push my corner, and then I'm going to push over into his corner. See, now we're just doing a circle. See? So we're learning. He's pressuring me. I'm pressuring him. He's like, okay, come on. You can have that outside, but I'm going to turn that on you. Where if he's just going straight back, you lose that opportunity to turn that. Because the only way he can come back forward, here he is, if I get him running backwards, he has to stop and then run back forward. There's no flow in that. So you lose that flow. So on the ladder again, we're gonna watch. I just want to see simple figure 8. Or excuse me, on the figure 8. Again, I'm talking for those people, you can step over your ladder, it doesn't matter. but essentially all we want is you fall to one side, rotate it into a figure eight. Okay, this is what we call
Forward, backward, figure eight.
the long vertical figure eight.
Yeah. We don't have a great name for it. We'll work on it.
Okay,
Vertical's probably good.
the after you feel like you got it one way, I want you to switch it to the other way. All right, I'm going to take a look and see how people are doing there. Little smaller steps, Craig. Nice, thick, smooth. There we go. Yeah. That's the way. And we don't care about nice, Nessa. That's exactly it. Best, that looks great. I'm gonna tell you to get into those knees a little bit. Let's watch and make sure. Hey, Vim, you're looking really good for the first time doing those. So think about making sure you don't give it, that you stay a little bit on the balls of your feet and you're not all on your heel. Germanicus, let's see how you're doing. You got it. Good. Yep, don't worry about too fast, nice and smooth. Smooth, remember this, smooth is fast. That's how we're looking at it. Smooth is fast.
And breathe.
Do it again, Todd. That's it. Yeah, just walk through it. There we go. Yep. Nice. Good. Remember what I said? Once you have one way, then think about doing the circle the other way. So the idea is, if my first way was fall back to my left and around, right? My next way is going to be fall to my right and around. Okay, and body straight up and down. You should be able to sit as deep as you want. Later, it'll be important. Going forward, I might get height. And then going backwards, I might take it into a defensive position. Okay, but we're not worried right now. We're just nice and smooth. Okay, good. You will find that this isn't, the eights will disappear. Sometimes it'll all depend on what your opponent gives you. If your opponent's going backwards, they may not give you an eight. They may keep going one way and you'll never be able to get around. Right? But that's okay. You're just trying to push that edge. Sometimes your opponent will know how to do this as well, and they turn it from an 8 into, here I'm coming at 5. There. I push over here, and then just turn it on. I push it here, and then she kicks it out. So now I have to change my direction. So again, these aren't always going to be 8s. What the 8s does is allow us, like Ron Golder said, to integrate that control with your feet, movement with your center, that your hips are following your opponent. Again, like Side said, if I put the guns out on my hips and she's doing this figure 8, okay? The guns are always pointing at me. Okay? As soon as you get into a position where you're turning those, okay, as soon as you get into a position that those turn, Side, put your guns up. There we go. Watch what happens if Side turns that as she's stepping backwards. See, now she's pointing the wrong way.
I'm doing this, which is not a shot.
Right.
I guess it is, but it's not a good one.
So this is when we go into these figure 8s, the idea really is I am following my opponent. That I push on them, they go back. And then they're like, I'm done going back, I'm going forward. And I'm no big deal. And then I'm trying to work on the outside. Now they're going back. So I'm just finding what they're doing and tracking it. This is that Eastern European constant tension drill as well. Because if she's pushing on me and then she decides to go back and I just let her, she gets to relax, regain perfect form. She's ready to go. I am too, but that's not how I want it. Right? I might have broke her down. I might have got her to turn her feet wrong early, and she hasn't noticed yet, but as soon as she gets to reset up, she's like, okay, back in good form. Like we all should do. Every time you have a break, it's a new fight. You start back in good form, good sword and shield, good, good stance. So this is why we stay in that perfect place. So as you get partners to be able to do this later, you find a partner and you just follow them. You can do the figure 8 drill with them first, where you're just following. You got it. And in this figure 8, side's really pushing and pushing, just feeling. We're both doing stuff. We're both feeling it. He's actually changing up some speeds, right? So I have to change up some speeds. So there's all kinds of things that happen in that. Later on, that figure 8 disappears and it just becomes all over the field. But we want to get a good exercise first before it goes free form. Okay, so that's the important one. All right, now we're gonna see, instead of long straight forwards, we're gonna do them side to side a little bit. So in this exercise, if I were to put cones out again. Okay, all right, so I got the cones again. This time I'm not pointed down the ladder. I'm gonna do these horizontal. So now I'm just here, a little bit. You notice there's not much of a push, but there's a lot of sideways. Again, you can see my hips are not turning. As I come here, I'm not pointing this way. And then I go over here and I point this way, right? But in this case, let me show you with Rongbalder. This might be Rongbalder's going to push into this side long ways, and then I'm going to counter push. And then he's going to, yeah, there you go. We're going to counter push. So in this exercise, our feet, instead of going forward, are literally crossing longer ways. Okay. So in this one exercise, what we want is nice horizontal figure 8. I'm not chasing my opponent down. He's not going to leave. That opponent may not be bailing out. They may run to the side. You got a good opponent that knows how to break to his side. I push, and he goes right off to his side. So I'm going to follow that. All right. Even when I fall back here, this is a control. I push, he goes, and I'm like, come on. And I'm like, over here. Oh, come on. Over here. Come on. See, I'm inviting him. Because I'm inviting him, that's essentially the push and pull in fighting. Right? I'm not giving him control. In fact, you have all the control as I'm going backwards. Rongbalder lives on this. As he's going backwards, he's killing. They think they have control. They have none. He actually is making them come at him. So this is what's happening in this drill as well. All right, let's do some long figure 8. Some of those horizontal figure 8s. We're going to watch a little bit.
At the risk of adding confusion.
Yes.
We're talking about keeping our hips pointed straight forward, and that is on the assumption that the other person is tracking.
Yeah.
If I come cut over here and you are a stand and pivot person, I should in fact stay facing you, yes?
So here I am. Yes. So I'm a stand and pivot person. You go ahead.
Like instead of tracking
Yes.
me, I come over here.
Yes.
If I
No.
stay-
You're gonna turn with whatever your opponent does.
Like
So-
for the basic drill, we're assuming they're
Yeah.
tracking us.
Yeah. And this is an assumption that your opponent is doing the same thing you are. And the side put this in a good way. So if you have an opponent and you figure out that here I am, as soon as I push into this corner, they turn. So now I know I'm actually going into rotational drill. Because again, you notice my fingers are still pointed at them, but they're not tracking with me. So in this case, I come over here, I might just go into these rotational drills that we do because they're a turner. if I go and they go the same way, now I know I got a person that actually knows really good footwork. And now we're in a push and pull scenario.
Now we're doing figure eight.
Okay, now we're doing figure eights and we're trying to find that time where they hit their weakness. But you notice that against a person that turns, our goal is to essentially, okay, well, now I know that you're a turner. Now I go right into my rotational footwork drill, just like we do around Bob, right? And those become just, and we'll do these later, Vim, Todd, or Angus, we'll do these later, where we'll have a pivot here and we'll just do rotational around it first. So the good part is as you travel your distance, your feet can get a little wider. But when you're cutting around those cones and you're changing from forward to back, those feet have to get really tiny.
Early on in trying this, we were seeing, we would go around the back. Some people would be here and then it would just be a giant step this way and it would kind of break the whole pattern and took us a while to catch on to what was going wrong.
That's the way, Germanicus. That looks good. Nice small feet, Todd. Yeah, a little smaller. There we go. It won't be nearly as choppy when you have smaller feet as well. Bess, you're looking really good. You're staying on those lines like a figure skater there. Holy crap.
I had to practice because I didn't know how to make a figure eight with my feet.
So isn't that amazing that, we how long you been fighting, Beth?
Oh, 30 years.
Yeah, and it's all of a sudden, we're learning how to do figure eights with our feet, how to do, a shuffle step, how to do all of these things, right?
My feet are like, what is an eight?
Well, I would hope I know. I mean, I am in the home area of Christy Yamaguchi.
Yeah, there you go. All you have to do is go to the ring. And if you could do that on ice, you could do it here.
I wish.
No. Yeah, I know it's been a while since the last time we got kicked.
I didn't actually fall over, but I caught myself on the wall a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so the idea here is, and you can see the real big piece here is to find that comfort and flow. This is a lot. I mean, out west they do these flow drills with swords, like I slow motion, bang, and that other person goes the other way, and then they come around the other way, and it's this constant counter pressure thing. Well, now we're doing that same thing with feet, right? And that's what we're trying to point out. This is super important just because now if you learn how to control the way you move, if somebody essentially starts moving into your corner, you don't find yourself, go ahead, you don't find yourself just turning. Because the turn is very dangerous. See, what happens in a turn scenario is here I am, side starts, she moves into that corner, I turn. Now I'm still good. There's a second, she's still ahead of me in tempo because she's moving, making me move. But now she can fake over here and go the other way. Now it's even worse. This is where just the turning body is bad. But if side moves over here and I move, I can throw while I'm moving. And now she's like, okay, so now she gives me a little fake to that side and goes the other way. Doesn't matter. I'm still just following her side to side. I'm always straight in front of her. I can always throw a blow because my hips and body are in the right place. I am not all crossed up. You can make a person turn, especially just turn her upper body, then they're destroyed.
Worst case scenario there, if I fake here and you track that way.
Yeah.
And I go this way.
It doesn't matter. I
Oh, no,
disengage.
you disengage.
Right. So, but if I'm here and I'm just trying to keep up with where she's turning, she's slowly getting me farther and farther behind. And at this point, here's where we talk about our head is thinking more about catching up than doing something offensive. Where if she dives in this corner, all I'm thinking is I'm gonna hit you in the head. Doesn't matter. because my mind is free and my body is just flowing with it. I give her something and I know she's gonna fall out. I do this all the time. This is the best shot in the world because they're like, the person actually does everything right. They fall out on an angle. So I give her some pressure. I see she's gonna fall out on an angle. Then I'm gonna like, okay, here we go. Bang. Because they're like, oh, wait, the fallout worked the first time. Well, now I'm just walking, I'm following them on that angle, just like we did in the figure eight. I'm following on that angle and throwing right into that slot I wanted.
Still have to block while you're falling out backwards.
Yes. So that's the idea there is this is why, again, our hips are leading, we're tracking our opponent. That's what this figure eight does for us. Especially as you add an opponent. Right now, we're getting our feet and our hips used to it. Later, you add a person to do it with you. And now you're dancing. And you're learning how to dance really well. And then you go into a fight, you can dance with anybody. That's what we're learning. All right. So the last one on these is I just want a simple circle. And then you can do it wide or long. In fact, if you feel like it's good, just do them both. Separate, do a couple wide, do a couple long. So I'm going to do the first one's long. I'm just falling back. And then I'm coming forward. I'm falling back. And then I'm changing forward. This is just a simple circle. So if I have a cone here, look at that. I'm just going around that cone. Here I am. Here I am. Here I am. Here I am. Keeping that body nice and straight. And make sure, yep, make sure that you're not doing this.
Okay.
I'm not putting my head on the stick, okay? So, and then after you do a few of those, you change it, go the other way. All right? Your whole body's moving. Okay, we're just learning how to make a tighter circle. I can make those really big circles. I can make a big ovals. Oh, gotta get back over. Make a big ovals. Coming back at you. Oh, you're pressing me, I'm over here. Coming back at you.
Make me wider side to side too.
Right, and then, or you can do them wider side to side. Hey, 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 come on. Hey, 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 hey. Whoop, whoop, come on. Okay, so, and then you can change again. You go the other way. Because we need to go both ways. Again, don't do this. Don't. This is not it. Wrong goal. He got a big smile in his eyes. He likes those. Okay, and really, this is. Yeah, if you guys want to get in armor, go. Okay. So this is actually where a lot of this, Ron Balder added the figure eight, which was awesome. I was doing the woo-woo. This is what I do when I'm falling out of something. And Ron Balder really explained it much better than I did. And that is almost every time me and Ron Balder are fighting, there's always a push and pull. So if Ron Balder starts pushing me, and I'll just take it away, but then I'm always pushing right back on him. Okay, because the idea is, let's get framed. Here we are. I'm going to push Ron Balder in this corner. He's going to fall back. I don't have anything. There we go. And then I'm like, come on. There we are. We got it. So we're just changing. See, now he pushes. Okay. In this case, we're adding some jab steps in there. So in those, we have to really, he caught me twice.
I lost it.
And then he lost it in the end. So I can literally caught me twice because he made me reset at this point right here when he cut the other way. My hips were the wrong way, and I had to stop my feet from going one way and pivot up. So, but as you learn these exercises in dance, the dance of these flows, you'll learn that when it's broken, you got to fix it. If you don't know it's broken, there's nothing to fix, except it's still broken. So this is another reason why we do this, is to learn when we know our body is in the wrong place. Okay?
Let's see some of those circles.
So let's get some circles in.
Bronis is gonna come watch y'all while I make a circle out of it.
Nice, Vim. I like that you put that cone up there. The stick. That's great. Good job, Dramaticus. Nessa, how's that doing on your knee? Okay, so these are hard on your knees, I know. There's a lot of changing of angle on these. Nice, Bess. Those are really nice and tight. There you go. Yes. Todd, you're getting these much better. Your feet are much smaller. That is much better. Smaller feet will make it really hard for your opponent to take advantage of you.
They won't be able to see it until it's too late.
Yes, and even if they do change it in a different way, so if they change up the way they're moving, your feet are small enough that you can make the change easy yourself as well.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so I think that was the good part here is we got the chance to do some more of these figure eights. We got some of the short footwork, a little bit more stretching in. We're gonna add some ball drills, some shoulder warm-up stuff. I want to get back to, if you've been doing this a long time, I'd like you to at least have a small stick in your hand so that you can think that you have a sword in your hand. Even 2 small sticks, one in each hand, like you got a shield and you got a sword, so that you can remember where that fits into this movement. All right. So if you have old rattan, just cut a couple of 6-inch pieces off of it, and you can use those. If you want to add some weight to those later, you can get some, 2-3 pound dumbbells and add it in there. That'll start building those shoulders back up, because it's going to be, it's the winter part of the time. So this is the time that we still want to keep that strength in our body. So going in next week, if you try to get some of those things in place, and then we'll work a lot harder. We're going to do more rotational stuff next week. I'm going to move this up for a second. There we go. We're going to do some more rotational stuff around the bob next week. It don't have to be a bob. It can be a stick on the ground. Anything, could be a circle on the ground, could be a chair. So we're going to do some rotations around those, so we get those rotational ones back in. We'll work on the rotational ones on the ladder as well, so everybody starts understanding how your feet have to point when you're doing rotation. It's I used to do this too, and that is, I'm shooting at a person, I go straight through the angle. So the idea, as I was charging, like as I was shooting past somebody, I ended up keeping going straight. We don't want to do that. We want to rotate. I want to see what Nessa said here. Oh, awesome. So we're going to get Nessa and Sir Husband up for next week's drills up here. So we're going to go through those next week. And then again, I'm going to post a couple of things out, some more feedback. We're going to build a couple of different ways Sundays run, so that we can make sure that we're getting through a lot of this stuff.
So, Ronus, what's the balls thing that you were talking about? Do I need to buy something?
No, the tennis ball thing that
Oh.
used to do. So we're just
Okay,
going to do, you're going to do the tennis ball on the ground, grab it with the other hand. Tennis ball on the ground, grab it with the other hand. If you have a wall, you're going to bounce it on the ground to the wall, catch it in one hand. Bounce it on the ground to the wall, catch it in the other hand.
Okay.
So this is eye-hand coordination. Okay, and then we're going to make sure as you bounce it against the wall that you're in your stance, that you're staying low while you're catching it over here. Bounce it again, catch it over here. Okay, so this is just really these aren't easy. I'm gonna fail at these too, so just be aware. We're gonna see where we can do it here on site. We'll see if we can find a wall and do it. But this is the idea: is we want to add some different things that will help us train both our feet, our hands, and stuff like that. On the rotational stuff for new people, we're just going to go. Don't worry about the sword and shield. For the folks that have been out here for a while, think about if you want just at least the sticks, or you want to go ahead and do sword and shield, because that sword and shield, the idea is you don't move as we go into rotation. So some of our more advanced people are going to do it sword and shield. But we'll go through all of that rotation next week. But for now, thanks everybody. for
Thanks,
coming.
Barnabas. Thanks, Cy. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Ron.
It was awesome.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks for our
Thank
new
you.
folks too. This is.
Thank you,
nice
guest
to-
teacher Ron Balder.
It's nice to have some new people too. Thanks, guys. Thanks for everybody
Bye,
coming out.
guys.